Hello friend, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah, and in today's video I'm gonna share with you probably one of the biggest book hauls I've ever done in this channel. I've done two so far and they're probably about 20 books in the video, but today there's gonna be 50 books that I am sharing with you, which I know is insane. My husband's wife is crazy and she needs to chill. That's me, by the way. Anyways, I have 50 books behind me right here, or like, I guess on the side. I don't know if you can tell, but I have separated them into 4 different stacks based on whether or not they are new or used and where I got them. So let's just go ahead and get started because I don't want to keep you for too long. Okay, let's start with this pile right here, which is my new book pile. And I got a lot of them from Barnes& Noble and then also Amazon and Walmart. So let's start with this first book series, I guess, because why not? So the first stack that I have is the Powerless series, I believe, by Lauren Roberts. I actually got this too as a box set from Barnes& Noble. I think originally it was 40 something dollars for the 2 books, and then it was 50% off. So I got both of this book for about $22 I think, with tax and everything. I kind of want to start getting into some series that is pretty short. Like, I think this is supposed to be a trilogy. The 3rd book is coming out this year, I believe. I think there's been recently a little controversy with this book series, but I learned about it too late. I already bought the book, so I'm not gonna waste my money and not read it. So I'm definitely gonna read it and probably get the 3rd book in the trilogy. And then I also got Powerful, which is a novella. I think it's supposed to be in between these 2 books. I got this from Amazon. Like I said, I was kind of already committed to this book series or this book trilogy, so I also got the novella from Amazon. Let's actually keep going with the book series that I got. So the next book series that I have is the Shadows Between Us series. I think it's a duology. There's only 2 books. I'm not really sure if there's gonna be like a novella or a prequel for this series, but I don't think there is. But this is by Tricia Leffenseller. And there are 2 books in the duology. Obviously, I got this from Barnes & Noble, and I think they were, I want to say 50% off. It was $12 something per book. And also look at the edges. It is super pretty. I love the sprayed edges. And also, I feel like more books need to do this. It has a little ribbon, so you can basically mark your location in the book without having to put in your own bookmark, which is, I think, a great idea. I think more books should do something like that, maybe. This next book series, I honestly wasn't expecting to get all 3 of the books by now, but I did get all of the books from the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. I was only gonna get the first book, which is Fort Wing, and I think I'm gonna start this series this year. But I went to Walmart, I believe. The Iron Flame was like, I think $11. And then I went to Target one time and they still have the deluxe edition or the special edition. It's not the Target special edition one, which honestly I don't really care too much about. But this one was, I believe, about $19 something. And then with the Target red card, I got 5% more off. So I decided to pick it up. So I got Onyx Storm, which is the latest book. I think there's going to be 2 more books in this series. And then, of course, I got the 2nd book, which is Iron Flame from Walmart. And then the 1st book, Fort Wing, from Walmart as well. I got the paperback for the 1st book. I do like paperback better, but they don't have the paperback version for Iron Flame and Onyx Storm. I don't mind having like different version of the book in the series. The next 2 books are not part of a series. They are independent. And I got Real Americans by Rachel Khong. I think that's how you say her last name. But this one was also 50% off at Barnes & Noble. I think I bought it for $14.50. And this is supposed to be $29, which is great. And of course, it has the special sprayed edges. And that's the more reason for me to pick it up. And last but not least, I got When Haru Was Here by Dustin Thau. I actually got his first book, which is You've Reached Sam, in my last book haul video. And I think I got that from Las Vegas bookstore, which is a used bookstore. And this was $10 at Barnes & Noble. So I decided to get it. I know he's coming out with another book, I think in the fall. But you can actually pre-order that already right now at Barnes & Noble. And I'm thinking I might, because Barnes & Noble is having a 25% off most of the pre-order books, like the newer books coming out. So I might actually get the third book from this author. I think those are all of the new books that I get this past few weekends. So let's go through this pile, which is I think one of the highest pile in my pile. I got all of this from the thrift stores here in Las Vegas, and I went to a Goodwill and I scored big time. They had pretty popular books. I don't think they're like new, but maybe from like the last 2 years, but you'll see which book I'm talking about. So the first book that I got from this pile is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I think that's how you say his last name. When I posted a reel or maybe a YouTube shorts or maybe a TikTok, I don't remember where, but basically a couple of people are saying that this book is one of their favorite books. So I cannot wait to start reading this book. I'm gonna do the next few books all together because they are part of the Hunger Games series. I know, I got 2 Hunger Games copy. I was at this Goodwill that I said where I scored big, and they have all of these 3 books all together like this. Literally, these books are new. I don't think people actually have read it because it's in really, really great condition. And like I said, I love the paperback books version better, so I decided to get all 3 of them. And I forgot, to be honest, that I already got the Hunger Games from the other thrift store that I was at before that one Goodwill. I definitely could unhaul this and probably donate it to the little free library the next time I go out. But I know I'm pretty late to the hype. This was probably pretty big when I was still in college, maybe even high school. I don't remember when this book came out. I was watching this one YouTuber and she was saying that dystopian novels are not really her jam, but she decided to give Hunger Games a try, and I believe she finished all of the books in the series. So if she said that she likes it, maybe I would like it too. So I decided to pick all of these 3 up. They are, I think, about $5 book or something at Goodwill. I know Goodwill's prices could be a little bit more steep, but I'm pretty happy that I was able to get all 3 books in the series. I know the Hunger Games series have 2 more books, I think, that are supposed to be a prequel. I think one already came out. The other one is coming out pretty soon. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to catch up before the newest book is released. But I don't know, maybe I will read it sometime this year. We'll see. The next book that I got from the thrift stores around Vegas is In 5 Years by Rebecca Shirley. I think it's been out for a few years. So I decided to pick it up when I saw it at, I believe, Goodwill as well. Let me know in the comment below if you have read any of these books, and let me know your thoughts. And just assume that I'm going to ask you the same thing after every few books that I show you. I mostly pick up these books because I've heard people talk about it. I rarely read the synopsis of the book before I pick it up. But when a book is like $2, $3, $5 and you've heard about it, people rave about it, I just decided to pick it up. So I would highly appreciate it if you've read these books that I'm sharing with you in this video. Let me know in the comment below if you love it or if you don't. Even if you don't love it, I'm still gonna rate it for myself but I would appreciate your input. The next book that I have is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I think there's been kind of like a trend going on, at least from the videos that I've watched on YouTube, of people reading a lot more of the classics, and obviously this one is one of the classics. I honestly love the 1920s, the Roaring 20s. It was my favorite section of my US history class when I was in junior year in high school. And I love, what is that movie with Rachel McAdams and Owen Wilson? Midnight in Paris. All of the 1920s public figures came out during the night, and I really, really enjoyed that movie. And obviously, Fitzgerald was there, and I think the actor who played Loki is F. Scott Fitzgerald, I believe. But anyways, I probably will try and read this book. Maybe it's a pretty short book, 194. So I think that could be maybe like a couple days read, maybe. The next book that I pick up is A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. I know this is like pretty random, but I saw this at Deseret Industries. It's another thrift store that is actually probably pretty new to Vegas. I think they're based in Utah. But I got this for, I believe, $1. And I have been on Bookstagram, and I think this is one of the books that are going to be banned or censored or limited. I don't know. But I did see it at the thrift store, and I decided to just pick it up for $1. Maybe I will flip through them. I don't know if I'm gonna read all of them. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We shall see. But there is how many? Oh, there's the index. I don't know. About 700 something pages. Maybe I will look through the different like contents and then just pick and choose which one I would like to read. The next book that I pick up is A Gentleman in Moscow by Emmer Towles. This book has been on my TBR list for years. I've heard about this book probably, I don't know, a few years ago, and I added them to my TBR list on Goodreads. And when I saw this again for $1, I decided to pick it up because why not? I know these authors have a few more other books that people actually do like as well. So the next time I go out to thrift stores around Las Vegas, I'm gonna try and see if I can find this author's other books. However, before I move on to the next books that I have behind me, this is gonna be a PSA for everyone. Please, please keep me accountable. I'm not gonna buy any more books except for a few books that I might buy from Barnes & Noble as pre-orders, but I decided to at least read 10 of the books that I have already in my library before getting more books, because I have 50 books right now. So I'm gonna try and read at least 10 books from my physical collection, and then I can go out and buy more books. I'm hoping that I can read at least 3 per month. So in 3 or 4 months, I can go out to the thrift stores and buy more books, which, to be honest with you, I don't think that's gonna happen. I probably will go out and buy more books sooner than 3 months, but please keep me accountable. The next thing that I got is called The Historians by Cecilia Ekbach. It's a novel of World War II. I'm not really sure why I keep picking up this type of novels with, World War II theme in the novel. I have 3 that is about World War II. But anyways, I picked this up for $3 at Dollar General. So if you do have a Dollar General around you, make sure to go in and check it out. They don't have a lot of book selections, but when they do, it's $3 to $5. The next book is again from Dollar General as well. This is Kevin Kwan's Sex and Vanity. This is like a large print book, which actually I've never really purchased before. But again, I got this at a Dollar General. I think it was, I want to say $3 or $5 as well. And I know this is a book series. There's another book before this one, I think. But maybe they are kind of independent of each other. We shall see. But if I'm able to find the other book, maybe on Book Outlet or maybe at Dollar General, I'll definitely pick it up as well. The next book that I have is actually a nonfiction book. It's called The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. Again, this has been my TBR for quite some time. I think I actually plan to borrow it from Libby. But with this kind of book, I feel like you do need the physical book so you can highlight, take notes, annotate the book, which is what I'm planning to do if I wanted to read any nonfiction books. I do want to read Atomic Habits, and I did see it at Walmart. I didn't pick it up though, so maybe I will the next time I'm there. I've heard a lot of people, like business people on YouTube, have talked about this book for a long time. That's why this book has been on my TBR. And wouldn't it be cool to only work for 4 hours every single week? That would be awesome. The next book that I have is called The Fortunes of Jaded Women by Carolyn. Okay. I'm not going to be able to pronounce the last name. Honestly, I don't want to butcher it. But this is a book by, I think, Vietnamese American author. And I think it's about like a Vietnamese family in Orange County's Little Saigon, which is actually pretty close to where we used to live. And I think I kind of know where it is in OC, in California. So this actually definitely piqued my interest. It's not a super thick book, 240 something pages, and it is by an Asian American author. Super interesting to pick it up and read it. Let me know again in the comment below if you have read this book before. Okay, the next book that I have is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I think this is technically a memoir or an autobiography, but it is a Reese Witherspoon's book club book pick, and I saw it at the Las Vegas bookstore for obviously an affordable price, so I decided to pick it up. And if you look at the cover, it's just so colorful and I love that. Okay, next book that I have is Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q Sutanto. That is how I believe you pronounce her last name, because she is Indonesian and I am Indonesian as well. I was born and raised in Jakarta. And if you look at her bio, she's basically saying that she's been going from Jakarta, Singapore, and I think the UK when she was growing up. So I decided to definitely support a fellow Indonesian who has actually a lot of books under her belt. So I have a couple more of Jessie Q Sutanto's books in this video, but this is, I think, the first book in the series, and I decided to pick it up because why not? I want to read it. Okay, the next book that I have is The Unwedding by Ellie Condi, I believe. Again, this is another Reese Witherspoon's book club book pick from, I think, a couple years ago. I found this at that Goodwill where I scored a lot of good books, so I decided to pick it up. I think it's a thriller mystery book, and I don't really read thriller mystery, but this doesn't sound too awful, I think. So I decided to pick it up. Again, if you've read this book before, let me know in the comment below what are your thoughts about it. So the next book that I pick up is another one by Kevin Kwan. This is called Lies and Weddings, and this is again from that Goodwill where I scored a lot of amazing books for like $5. I think this is also another either duology or a book series by Kevin Kwan. Not the same one with the one that I haul from Dollar General. I've seen a lot of my like mutual on Goodreads actually read this book or mark this book as something that they want to read. So that means that it piqued other people's interest as well. So I decided to pick it up when I see it at Goodwill. So this next book, actually have seen like a TikTok about it. Not about the book itself, but it's about the adaptation. I think it's a TV show. And Brie Larson was the main character. And it's called The Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmes. I got this again at Goodwill for like $5. I'm pretty sure this book is probably only about a year and a half old or something, but when I see this, I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna pick it up because I do want to read it. From that one little, I think, TikTok that I saw, it sounded pretty interesting. I think she was a chemist, but she had like a cooking show or something on TV, and she kind of encouraged a lot of other women, I think in the 60s, that was watching her show or was in like the studio as like a live audience to pursue whatever they want to do. I decided to try out Book Outlet because I've heard so many great things about how they have bargain books. I don't know if it's actually used books, but the conditions of all of these books are like perfect. I don't really see a lot of like bent or water damage or anything like that. So I probably will order a lot more times from Book Outlet in the future. The first book that I got is Court of Lions by Samaya Daud. I think that's how you say the author's last name. But I actually got the first book in the series. It was called Mirage from like a big warehouse sale. And I decided to pick this up because Book Outlet has the second book. So might as well get them and then have all of the books in my personal library. The next book is called The Queen's Secret by Melissa de la Cruz. Again, I got the first book in the series from the warehouse sale, and because I saw that the book outlet has it, I again decided to pick it up to complete the series. The next book that I got is called The Red String Theory by Lauren Kong Jessen. And one of Ricky's coworkers, who's also an avid reader, probably read more than me, she recommended this book for me. And again, this is super interesting. It has like the Asian American, maybe Chinese American elements, I guess, in the book. It's about the red string theory where, you are actually destined to be with someone and you guys are connected with a red string. I think there's another book in the series. I think they're kind of independent of each other, but I only found this book when I was browsing Book Outlet not too long ago. The premise of the book is really interesting and I just want to see how the story unfolds. The next couple books are from Jessie Q Sutanto, and I think these two books are part of a book series as well. One of them is called Didn't See That Coming, and the other one is called Well, That Was Unexpected. And the names of the characters in the books are actually Indonesians, but I'm not really sure if they are in Indonesia or in Singapore. Like, I don't really know the setting, but I think this one is in LA. And I'm pretty sure this one is in maybe Indonesia because I think the characters are in high school because the white shirt and the gray bottoms are the uniforms for high schoolers in Indonesia, which is called Putih Abu-Abu. Pretty much all of the schools in Indonesia, whether it's public school or private school, they all have the same like color, so you can differentiate if you are a high schooler, a middle schooler, or elementary schooler. But anyways, I think this is set in Indonesia, so I can't wait to read it. I actually have always wanted to go to high school in Indonesia because I wanted to have that white and gray uniform, but I didn't get a chance to because I moved here when I was 15. The next book that I got from Book Outlet again is from Jessie Q Sutanto as well, and this is, I believe, the second book in the Auntie series. It's called Four Aunties and a Wedding. I think this book is technically like a thriller or mystery as well, but it has like some wedding elements in it. There should be another book. I think it's the third book that I'm still gonna look for. Maybe Book Outlet will have it eventually in the future. And then last but not least, from Book Outlet, I got Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mairer. I think there's 3 books in the series. The second one, I believe, just came out last year, and the third one is coming out sometime this year, if I'm not mistaken. This is something that I wouldn't really read, but when I saw this at Book Outlet, I decided to pick it up. And if I like it, I probably will continue on the series. I did see the second book, I think, at Barnes & Noble, like the past few months. So I feel like it's a pretty popular book. Hopefully I like it so I can buy the other 2 books. Okay, we are at the last pile right here. This is the pile that I got from going to LA last weekend, which is crazy. I bought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 books. But it was almost like a struggle to be able to bring this back to Vegas, but I was able to, so I'm pretty happy. Actually, let me start with this one book that I got from Dollar Tree for $1.50, and it's called The Christie Affair by Nina de Gramont. Again, this is one of Reese Witherspoon's book club book pick, and I actually have heard about this book. It's, again, I think set in the 1920s, which is, again, my favorite period, I guess, from US history class. So I decided to get this book because it's only $1. Let me see. I think I still have the receipt here. $1.38. So I cannot pass this up. Let me know again in the comment below if you have read this book and whether you like it or not. So the rest of the books that I got from LA is from this store called Book Off. They're actually based in Japan because I have seen Book Off during my research when we were going to Japan in 2023. So they actually mostly sell a lot of like manga, animes, figurines, games, and stuff like that. But they have a pretty great used book section. I went to two book off. One of them is in Monterey Park and the other one is in Lakewood Center near Long Beach. And the one in Monterey Park has like $1 books and all of them are book of the month books. I kind of want to start collecting book of the month books just because I just subscribed to them a couple months ago. So if you want to subscribe and if you want to get your first hardcover book for $5, use the link in the description box below. So let me go through these 4 books that I got from the book off in Lakewood. I actually missed a whole entire YA section. I didn't have enough time to go through them because we were meeting up with friends, but I'm pretty happy with what I got. So the first book that I got is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I think that's how you say the last name. This is just a collection of their poetries, and I've actually heard about this author or this poet, I guess, from TikTok. And when I see that one of their books is in book off, I decided to pick it up. The next book that I got is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. It's one of those books that people talk about probably a few months ago, maybe a year ago or so. It's another mystery thriller book that I might wait to read, but I also can't wait to read because this is pretty interesting. So the next book that I got is The Ex Hex by Aaron Sterling. Again, I've heard people talk about this book. I know this is not a new book, but I decided to pick it up because it has like witches, I think. And I love Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I love anything with witches because I love Sabrina. And I heard that this book is actually a pretty good book. I'm pretty sure this is actually a book series. I think there's 1 or 2 more books. There's one called The Kiss Curse, but I think there's one more after that one. So last but not least, from that book off in Lakewood, I found Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So I decided to pick it up because this was again $5.50. The other Emily Henry books that I've read is The Beach Read, which is actually a 5-star read for me. I started reading Funny Story, I think last year, maybe in the summer, but I kind of DNF'd the book. Maybe I'll pick it back up again in the next few months, but I wasn't really into the storyline of the book as well as the character, the guy character. What was his name? I don't remember, but he wasn't really that swoony, or I just don't like the way he is written in that book. So I started, but I did not finish it. Like I said, maybe I will pick it back up again sometime in the future, but not right now. So the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books are book of the month books that I was able to find at book off. So these 2 books are actually not $1, but I got the romantic comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld, and this was an April 2023 book of the month book pick. It was actually just like calling me out in the register, and I was just telling the cashier person that I think I'm gonna pick this up as well because why not? It's pink. I got this in January, and maybe, just maybe, I will read this in February because it just screams Valentine's Day. I don't know why. The next book that I have is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. People have been talking about this book so many times on all of the videos that I've been watching recently as well. I have been kind of like binge watching a lot of people's videos from like many months ago, and they like this book. And even when I posted again under a TikTok reel or shorts, somebody said that this book is a pretty good book. It's one of their favorites, so I can't wait to pick this up. But I do watch people who are not really a fan of this book, so we shall see. I think it's kind of 50-50 maybe, so I'm gonna read it for myself and hopefully I will like it. The next, I think, 8 books are $1, which is again insane. This one is called The Kindest Lie by Nancy Johnson. This is a February 2021 book of the month, so it's a pretty old book. I think this is about, the setting is 2008 when President Barack Obama was elected. The next book is The Leavers by Lisa Ko. This is May 2017 book, which is, wow, that is pretty old. But this is about a undocumented Chinese immigrant. Was it the mom that's undocumented? I think it is. So basically the mom is undocumented Chinese immigrant, and she left for her job at a nail salon and never comes home. super interesting. The next book is called Peach Blossom Spring by Melissa Fu. And again, this is another Asian American author, and it is February 2022 book. The story is actually set in China in 1938 during the World War II, I believe, when the Japanese actually was trying to infiltrate China. A lot of stories that I've heard about that time that is definitely not good, so I decided to pick it up. Hopefully it's not super sad, hopefully it has an uplifting and like kind of happy ending. I'm not sure, but if you have read this book, let me know in the comment below what your thoughts are about this book. Okay, I feel like I'm talking a little bit faster just because the camera has been rolling for 43 minutes and I'm not really looking forward to edit this video because that's gonna be a long one. Anyways, the next one is called The Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. This is a October 2023 Book of the Month book, and this premise is super interesting. The main character lives in Eden, Kentucky, and the town is only famous for two things: bad luck and E. Sterling, which is the reclusive 19th century author of The Underland who disappeared over 100 years ago. The main character was obsessed with the Sterling house, and I think she has like an opportunity to go inside or something. I am kind of curious about how the story unfolds. Is she gonna get stuck in there? Is she gonna be able to come out? What are like the hidden secrets about the author's disappearance, and what's just the secret about the house in general? So I can't wait to read this book. Hopefully it's not too scary. The next book that I got is Did You Hear About Kitty Carr by Crystal Smith Paul. I think this is about a famous actress in Hollywood or something. She passed away and have a lot of, I guess, estate and money left behind. And I think Kitty Carr, like the actress who passed away in this book, has like a secret or something. So can't wait to hear about her secret. The next one is called The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. It's January 2022 Book of the Month book. And I think this is a historical fiction set during the Spanish flu outbreak in 1919. So that is pretty interesting. I think she's like a model or something, and she got a chance to go to London. No, not London. New York, I think. I also just love the cover of the book. She looks like she's dressed as, obviously someone from the 1920s, like flapper style fashion. So I can't wait to read what this book is all about. Honestly, like I said, I picked this book up because it is Book of the Month book, and I don't really read the synopsis, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be an interesting, hopefully, book. The next book that I have is called The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I'm hoping I'm saying the author's name correctly. I think is it a fantasy book? I think it is. But basically the main character, Hiram Walker, was born into bondage. When his mother was sold away, Hiram was robbed of all memory of her but was gifted with a mysterious power. And it says years later, Hiram almost drowns in a river and the same power saves his life. Hopefully I'll be able to read this pretty soon. 50 books to do in one video is definitely way too much. But this is the last book. It's called The Love of My Life by Rosie Walsh. Again, one of the Book of the Month book pick. It doesn't say the month or the year. Usually it would on the back, but let me just see. When was this published? 2022. This is about Emma, who loves her husband Leo and of course their young daughter Ruby. She would do anything for them, but almost everything she's told them about herself is a lie. What are the lies? What are you hiding from your husband and your daughter? I want to know. Anyways, those are all of the 50 books that I got this last few weekends. And like I said, if you have read any of these books at all, if you've heard about it, if you're excited about any of these books, let me know in the comment below. You're going to be my accountable person. You should tell me that I cannot buy any more physical books until I read at least 10 of the books that I have in my library. I think, if I'm not mistaken, on my Libib app, let's see, I'm gonna open it up. I have 134 books, but I actually added about 9 or 10 books on my Kindle that I purchased. So I probably technically have about 124-ish book physically. And that is a lot. And when I go through them yesterday, I think I've only read like about less than 10 books. So I'm gonna try and work on reading most of the books in my physical like collection. If you want to check out all of my other book haul videos on my channel, which there's only 2 so far, make sure to click into one of these next.